Dear Twin Flame souls out there, welcome to the Twin Flame Awakening podcast, and today is an episode number 11. The 11, which is a known fact for Twin Flame reunion, or that you are about to meet your Twin Flame. We talked about the Twin Flame signs in my previous episodes, and today is a Wednesday episode where we're going to dive into the guest posts or the people who have shared this story with me, and today we dive into these topics. Why you should listen to this podcast, or why you should listen to other people's stories who are in a twin flame journey, who are going through it. The number one thing is what I figured out when you are in this journey, that listening stories from others gives you the comfort that you are not alone. You are connected in this universe, and there is something very strange happening to you. And it gives you the sense of peace. I've heard from many of my listeners and people who send me emails. I mean, I absolutely love you. Thank you so much. I just simply cannot be more thankful for listening your perspective, your stories. So each time when you have something to say, leave a comment or just send me an email to inflameawakeningjourney@gmail.com. I try to respond as fast as I can, and also I just would like to say that each single time when somebody writes me something that they found it helpful or they got the inner peace, I feel I'm doing my part. I'm giving you something back in this world that makes you to understand that this journey is very intense. It's super confusing, and where to start, how to start, what to do, and when it will stop is something that I think we all are looking answers for. And that's why I have decided to share also the stories from my listeners who are sending their stories to me. We dive into their mission, their journey, their feelings, and and I'm giving my soul guidance. Literally, I'm telling you, I do read the stories a little bit in prior, but I go in depth when I'm listening to them, and then my answers are all from my soul. So it's something I'm a true believer that, because now after all of that hell I went through with Twin Flame Awakening, I'm really connected with my soul, and pretty much everything I say comes from my soul. It's not my mind who is planning everything ahead. It's just something I feel I have to say it out, and it just comes naturally. Also, for those who are new here, thank you for tuning in, and I hope you find these episodes very helpful and guiding for you. I have just a little thing to say, and this has happened a lot to me over here. So those who subscribe or connect with me over the emails and everything, I have figured that I start putting out the content just when somebody has signed up or leave the comment that is going with their energy. Like they have a question, they have something that bothers them, and I happen to talk about it prior to my podcast or during that day. So I do believe that when you connect your energy with my energy, I can help and have a better guidance for you. So subscribing to the channel, or just sending an email, or staying in touch, I have a feeling that it has an impact, because first of all, I've connected with so many beautiful souls over this past month that I have a feeling that something magical is about to happen. So thank you for listening to this little intro that I had to say. Today we have 3 posts, so it's most probably going to be a long post. So dive into this, take a moment, just chill, relax, and get into this vibe where you know that you are not alone. There are so many twin flames who are awakening. There are so many twin flames who are currently in pain and in separation and wondering when it will ever stop. And also, I said why you should listen to this podcast when we are talking about stories from others, how they met their twin flames, is because you will understand that I am in a twin flame journey. Because in this journey, a lot of weird things are starting to happen to you, which will make you question every single time, what is this thing? How is it twin flame connection? How I don't mess it up with a soulmate or karmic? With twin flame, there is a kind of a pattern, but everybody has their unique way because we are all unique. Our souls are unique. We are not coming from the same source we're coming from the same source, which is the universe, but we are not coming from the same planetary system. We are not coming from the same. Our souls have traveled a lot. And when I did my breath work, I spoke about this, and I traveled with my soul. I have no idea where, and I really felt home. And so I hope that listening others, understanding that you are not alone, gives you the comfort to understand that one day you know your mission. One day you're united with your twin flame, or you are in a union with your soul. That I have spoken about it before in my episodes, what the union means. I also say now right before that each Wednesday and Sunday there's a longer episodes out there, and on Friday I have decided to make it on YouTube a short overview what it means to be in a twin flame journey and to give the guidance and the facts from it. So it's just a short one, and also energy updates based on full moon, new moon, or some other things that are happening. So feel free to subscribe on my YouTube, or if you're listening on Spotify, subscribe over here. Every single little connection makes a huge difference. And I can tap into your energy, and I can tell stories. I will tell one example at the end of the podcast. I also have, those who are willing to listen to this until the end, I have some extremely exciting news based on the guests and things that are starting to happen in the upcoming months. So I will talk about it later, because I think you are impatient of listening other stories and would like to dive into today's topics and what is going to happen in this crazy, intense journey. So welcome on Twin Flame Awakening podcast, and here we go now. So first of all, I don't name the names, and it's just not because of the privacy or anything like this. In the soul world, somehow our names are not going with our ego. Many people who have the spiritual awakening, they change their names. And I don't think that names are relevant. We have to go deep inside of the person's soul. And that's the reason also I do podcasts and not video versions. Although, yes, I'm planning to do video content, which will be exclusive. Just because I think for those who feel that they need to see me, who feel that they would like to reconnect with me better, have the chance and support me in that process, because making a video content takes a lot longer. So, yes. So here we go to the first story, and today is from the women. All of the stories are from the women. It tends to be the women are waking up earlier than the men. So which means divine feminine, but not that they are women. Divine feminine energies. Like in the last story, we had also a man sharing very deep story. And his story is going to be followed up the next Wednesday, where we're going to dive into. If you have any questions and you listen to my previous episodes, please leave the comments, because this is the only way I can reply to you properly and give the guidance. So thank you so much, honestly. So it's the first story here. Your channel has truly brought me so much peace, and I thank you so much for that. I couldn't understand what this whole journey was about. I really thought I was losing my mind, so I would like to thank you for that. So here is exactly coming back to the fact why listening other people's stories and guidance helps you in that journey and clears your mind, because we all have been in that situation where we feel like, how, I cannot take it no longer. I remember that very well when I was just so broken. I said, I'm done with this. I just cannot handle it no longer. And when I listened to stories from others, and when I started connecting with people with a soul level and twin flames, I realized I'm not alone. This thing is real. This thing is happening. So let's dive into the first story. This is my twin flame journey. I have always felt different since I was a child. I always felt like I had a twin. In fact, I had an invisible friend as a child. Always I felt like something was missing. I had numerous prophetic dreams in my life that turned out to be true. I'm an intuitive and very emotionally based woman. I'm a Cancer on the Leo's cusp. Within less than 24 hours of the signs changing, I'm always spiritual, religious, and curious about astrology. My hobbies are different from any of my friends. My interests are very different too. I always felt a little different from those around me. Since 2017, I have been on a journey of self-healing, making myself a better person mentally and physically. I created a bucket list and started to check things off. I also went counseling and dove into self-help books, church, and finding myself after being empty nester, divorcee. Learning more about astrology and about alignment with the stars and planets, I find it fascinating. I was finally at the point in my life that I wanted to find my soulmate. I would tell myself that meeting my person would happen when it's supposed to happen. I remember asking the universe for my soulmate. I began thinking about the perfect man, what would he look like, how I would recognize him. I remember saying, I like a taller man. I like a man that wears certain clothing. I like a man who wears a certain clothing. I always admired a military man too, so maybe he's in the military. Wanted us to share some mutual hobbies and interests, having an extreme chemistry and immense sexual connection was also very important for me. I wanted a good man, God-fearing also, someone that everything just seems to click with. I never dated a man like this either. I also wanted a really deep physical closeness that was unmatched to anything I have ever experienced. I asked for that too, numerous times. I never thought someone like this would show up. Meeting someone was very hard for me. I was on a dating apps for 5 years before I met my twin. This is the hardest time I've ever had trying to date my entire life. I was alone a lot, reflecting a lot. I am 50-year-old. I kept saying to myself, it's just not the right time, I'm not ready for him, and etc. I couldn't find my match. I tried and I tried. I changed my profile information numerous times, thinking maybe that would help. Changed my photos too, but it didn't help. I would get hundreds of messages from a man, but there would always be some obstacle and our lives didn't match up. It was like something wanted me to stay single. I couldn't understand this. I kept telling myself that there is a reason why I haven't connected with anyone. Meanwhile, I kept praying for my soulmate and the future husband. While I continued to work on myself, I kept telling myself that I am being guided and there is a reason I haven't connected with anyone. Looking back, I know the universe put me in this dry spell with love to guide me to him. When he first messaged me, I remember looking at his photo, information and thinking, he's really not my type physically, but we have similar interests and outlooks. I remember thinking he's really not someone I would date. I wasn't attracted to him. It was just different. And then something told me, just get to know him. We eventually exchanged numbers. We talked for hours every day, text too. I found out he seems to have all the attributes I was looking for, and vice versa. In this connection, I am the divine feminine and he is the divine masculine. During the time we met, he was only divorced a few months. His life was messy. I was more grounded. I didn't think he was ready to date. I told him that. He said he was ready because his marriage was dead for a few years before the divorce. After 5 years, we are finally able to have a dinner date. The first encounter was very weird. We hugged right away. I smelled him. I consider myself as an intuitive person. I felt calm, safe, secure, and comfortable with him. I felt drawn to him. It was strange to undescribable feeling. His phenomena made me crazy. I had never experienced that. The restaurant was extremely packed. It was Saturday night. I remember staring at him during the dinner and thinking, what is it about him? Why do I feel so drawn to him? Our first date was perfect. I didn't want it to end. I was so excited and optimistic that maybe I finally found my person. After several dates, I just felt this magnetic connection with him. He said he felt the weird magnetic attraction to me too. When we had our first sexual encounter, it was like unlike anything I had ever experienced with any other partner in my entire life. I didn't understand that either. I felt like I had never truly made love to anyone else in my life until I met him. In fact, I told my best friend that I couldn't fully explain it, but the best way I could explain it was with felt like I was virgin with him. It was so intense, passionate, electrifying. It was like my whole body started to light up. It was like his soul made love to me. This caused me to start researching. I read that the twins have a mission. I read that twins have inner work to do themselves. Then I heard another video says, no, that's not true. It wasn't about the inner journey. I was so confused. I wanted to know the purpose. Another odd thing I noticed was that our hands seems to fit perfectly together. I know that sounds like a weird thing to say, but I'm a very affectionate person. However, I never been able to comfortably hold hands with another person because it just didn't felt awkward. But his hand felt perfect in mine. I also love to cuddle and be cuddled. Our bodies became one when we lied in each other's arms. I never felt like my body and someone else just fit together so well. I fell so quickly and deeply for my twin. He was everything I wanted. After about 2 months, we said he loved me. Right away, I said it back. I already felt it. I felt the love from the beginning. He started talking about the marriage and us living together. Then it seems like he overthought his words, freaked himself out, and the separation process started. As we know, with the twins, there are separation periods. This was so maddening. I just wanted that feeling of being in his presence. I felt so alive around him. I felt so content. I didn't understand why I felt magnetically forced to be with this person. We have separated numerous times now. Over the time, we have blocked each other numerous times, and yet he would always find a way to come back to me. Our first separation was a week, then 2 weeks, then a month, then 3 months. Now we are on a third 3-month cycle. It's been a complete torture. I just want him in my life. He has taught me to love myself more, to enjoy life on my own terms, to do things by myself and not rely on someone else, enjoy life with me. I've also learned not to be emotionally based. I have learned that I need to be more patient. We continued to date on and off between separation times. The separation times would seem get longer and longer. Then he would finally contact me. I would accept his apologizes every time with loving arms and unconditional love because I just wanted the peace and contentment I felt with him. I would get so mad at myself for giving him another chance. I would get so mad that I couldn't turn off these feelings. I've listened to several twin flame couples talk about the sexual aspect of their relationship. After a long research, I began thinking maybe I was having a Kundalini awakening. I'm still not entirely sure. I didn't even know that twin flames were until I started to research after my experience. I'm not that knowledgeable about the Kundalini awakening. I'm still trying to understand all of this. We are in fact in a separation right now. I have set boundaries with him this time because I cannot be in his presence without feeling overwhelmed with love, desire, energy, and contentment. So we currently just speak on the phone and text, but no physical connection. I cannot see him until there is a mutual understanding and commitment. This has been so painful. I have had periods where I didn't want to leave the house at all. This has been the worst than any depression that I have experienced in my life. Being apart from your twin is such a dreadful feeling. I work from home, so I would work and stay home for weeks. I felt like I was torturing myself, but I couldn't stop it. There was a time where I didn't change my bedding for several weeks because I could still smell him in bed with me. I've never felt anything close to this in my life. People around me said I was just in love with him. I said, if this is love, I've never experienced love until now. It was something I've never felt. It was unconditional love. It makes you feel like the whole world is useless without them. Like they can heal all your wounds. It's horrible. Feeling of dread. I wouldn't wish this for my worst enemy. I cannot thank you enough for allowing me to understand what this journey is about. Now I can separate my emotion a little easier and think more logical about what this connection actually is. So, first of all, thank you so much for writing it so in deeply. And I think every one of you who were listening to this felt very resonated. I had from so many things that I felt, this is exactly how I felt. This is exactly what happened to me. And here I'm just diving into to give the overview of what I see from it and how I think of this. So this is exactly like overview for each one of you to understand, and I'm giving from my soul because I really felt it. First of all, one of the reasons I can say why it happened to her as well is for the fact that she was already spiritual. She was already starting her work, and the fact that she says, I always felt different as a child. And it's the same with me. As a kid, my father passed away when I was really young. I was about 5 years old, not yet even 5, and he had a car accident. He was very young and he passed away. And as a child, I somehow developed an understanding, and I'm a true believer of that. I don't ask people to believe me or not to believe me, but that there is a soul world where you can go and talk to them and be guided by them. And as a matter of fact, I have lived my whole life that I have my father. He had to leave the physical world, but he is with me in the soul world, and I can connect with him anytime, any place, and there is an answer. And I developed this very strongly. So as a kid, I used to have this very strong sense for people when I could feel when something is wrong or going, like, for example, sometimes I'm lost. I don't know where to go. Like, let's say I'm on the street and I'm just like, guide me. And I just start walking and I arrive to the right place. So there has been so many, I think any of you who are intuitive and live by your soul knows that something just doesn't make sense to you in the real life. But in an intuitive world, it makes sense to you and you get guided to the right place. And so she's definitely a chosen one. And I would say that we are somehow connected, that there's a lot of things in terms of having invisible friends, and this is not crazy. This is something that because we are not only this physical body, and that's what twin flame connection is actually teaching you a hard time. You're not only a physical body, you're connected with your soul. And I'm just going to say another thing here, which I listened another day on a Joe Rogan podcast, where he was talking about that actually our death is the one where we are going to the highest realm of universe. And this is actually where we become the highest version of ourselves when we leave our bodies. So that was a very interesting point for me because I've done a lot of breath work and deep meditation, and I go out of my body and I'm traveling, I don't know where. And I don't want to come back from there. When I'm in this deep meditation where I don't feel my body, I just love where I am. But it wasn't, of course, in the beginning. The first time I cried a lot, so I had a lot of things to release. So that's why I really recommend for everyone, if you have a chance to go on a deep breath work, sound healing, do this to yourself. You'll get an answers from there. I'm also doing right now, I'm currently studying for it to do and guide you. Obviously, I don't want to harm anybody. I want to be knowledgeable and understanding what is happening. So soon I can also guide you on it. So also having these kind of dreams. So here's just one thing based on her. She knows herself very well. I can tell that she has done the work. And first of all, because she's a Cancer and in Leo. So Leos, are very... they need a person next to them. They're very family oriented. They're very close. They need closeness. They need physical touch. They need a lot of like hugging, kissing. They need a lot of this because that's who they are. And she knows herself very well in terms of that she's right in between. So she has a little bit that she needs a distance, but at the same time, she's really in need for love, care, and closeness. So when she started to manifest her soulmate, which is also interesting here, yes, soulmate is our perfect partner in a way of living together, because twin flames are triggers a little bit, but they are your divine love. They are you. And it doesn't mean that you cannot be together. It's just I think it's the most intense connection you can ever experience in this your lifetime. Even though I am married to my soulmate and I'm guiding him through his spiritual awakening, I always know, and people have asked me, can you love two people at the same time? I'm like, yes, you can, because there's this divine love and there is the other love. And this other love is where you just match very well. You have this same understanding, but it's not the divine love, what you have with your twin flame, because divine love comes inside of yourself, inside of your soul. And that's, it's beyond physical. Anyways, when she met her twin flame is also, I want to go back to that where she also says, I had the hardest time of my life. Universe always, like, we learn through the pain. We let go through the pain. So pain is part of this big process. If you're listening this today and wondering why is it so painful? When it will stop? It will stop when you let go of your old self. It will stop when you finally say to yourself, yes, that was me, but my ego is now dead. And I'm bringing you a great example here. I had a conversation with my client another day where I said to my client, but why don't you just go and say, I'm sorry? There was a situation in between their family, like the mother and the son. I'm saying, why don't you just go and say, I'm sorry? It doesn't matter who is right, who is wrong. And he's like, yes, but they did this and they did this. I'm like, they did, yes, but why don't you just go say sorry? What do you lose from there? Do you lose your ego that you are weaker? And he started looking at me and said, no, I don't think so. I'm like, so why? Tell me the reason why. You're trying to defend yourself to be someone who you're not, because you're trying to place your truth into the position. And after this, I told him, you don't always have to apologize on the first day when you go there. And even if it wasn't for your fault, just say, I'm sorry, my mother, I might have hurted your feelings. It was unintentional. I didn't mean that. And see what happens inside of yourself. He came back to me later and he said, I felt so relaxed. I'm like, yeah, you do feel relaxed, because you're letting your ego to guide you who is right or is wrong. And our world is very ego-based. We try to be right in everything instead of accepting that there is no right and wrong. There's a life. There's time that doesn't exist actually. So why you get caught in the moment that no longer serves you? Let it go. So it's the same in the ego death. What you're going to have and everything is that, let's say you did a job, you were not happy there, you get up every single day of being miserable, but you still can't let go of it, because what others would think, or what would you think, what your ego would think. Anyways, this is a longer topic, so we're going to talk about this another time. So here is a funny thing with her, is also when he said that it was not your type. I had another podcast episode where I actually made a poll on Spotify asking, and also on TikTok, where I asked, was your twin flame your type? Was he something that you are drawn to, that you want to be with? And so far, about 98% of the people, I would say 100%, I've said, no, my twin flame was not my type at all. So if you're listening this one, you can also leave a comment. Was your twin flame your type? Was your twin flame physically your type, or the man or the woman you are actually attracted to and want to be with? Or was there something very special that happened when you met? And of course, the same thing, like she's always saying here, that the first time you meet, there's something you are so blown away, you just don't understand what is happening and how is it possible. I went through the same thing, and I just had a conversation with my twin flame another day when he wrote to me that when you left, because I left the country, it affected me a lot. And I said, oh, I didn't know that it affected you. How did it affect you? Even though deep inside of me, I know. But I wanted him to tell me that, because he's slowly waking up. And he said to me, I was really affected to you. And the moment we met, there was a chemistry that I just cannot explain until today. And I was like, wow, yes, this is true, All of these things I was thinking in my head, that does he think about me? Does he feel the same way? Because I was afraid to ask, and I was so confused in that connection. I thought this is not real. This will pass, This will go away. Eventually will go away. But it got more intense, and I was like, it's gonna kill me eventually. Until my end of the spiritual awakening and the Kundalini awakening and all of that, I figured, wow, here are my answers. And that's why, talking of this story, is I found her, she understands with her mind very well. But here is just one thing I can also say, that she understands her mind and she blocks many things with her mind that are coming up to her. So there are some deep things she needs to let go of. She still has, I would say, more of a fear of losing. Like it's very common. Fear of losing someone in a twin flame connection is very common. And fear of not being worthy. Because she says, and I had the same thing. She said exactly the same here, that whenever he comes back, I would take him back regardless, in that time, in that place. And I think we all have been there, where we are taking our twins back, like, just blink of an eye, just call me and I'm there. Actually, the universe wants you to understand your worth. And it's not that worth of ego-based worth. It's a worth of, okay, how do I feel? Why do I feel that his presence, if we talk in a male perspective right now, makes me so happy? Why my own presence is lacking out of it? What is inside of me that doesn't allow me to take this next step? And why do I feel that I have to be physically connected? And these answers you get very quickly. I can bring from my own that I'm a very hard worker, but I like working. Another day when I was speaking, I said, it can sound weird, but in 2023, there is someone who really loves working. I love what I do. I put my creativity in it. But I'm unable to step up when somebody has said to me, like, can I have this for that price? And I'm like, yes, people having hard times. And another day when I had a conversation with my twin, I figured, no, I am extremely worthy. My skills, the things I know, the things I do are extremely valuable. So why I don't value myself as well he values me? So I got this value proposal from him when he told me the things. When he told me, I really like your voice, the way you speak. I really like your calmness. You're very creative. And that made me feel super good. Of course, we all need compliments. We all need to say beautiful things to each other. I think that's where the magic happens. But that is also a thing which we forget about ourselves, and not ourselves as an ego-based. I always say that it's not about I am worth of this much and this is what I do. No, it's more about what do you feel inside? What I did today, was that what I was supposed to do? That's made me happy? And if there are the answers, you slowly understand your value much higher, and you are not so afraid of letting go. And one effect is, the moment you are not afraid of letting go, they are back and they want to be with you. Your twin flames are back because they feel you are now healed and they need you to guide you through this process. And believe me, yes, you need to guide your twin flame through that process. It's not easy for them. Not at all. She also talks about the sexual energy, what he had. And I was about to say that at the end of the podcast episode, but I'm saying it now. I also have a woman who will come and discuss on a podcast episode in detail about the experience and also about the Kundalini awakening. So I'm a true believer that when you meet your twin flame, whether you have the intimacy or you don't have the intimacy, you're going to have a Kundalini awakening. And Kundalini awakening is painful and it's not fun. It's like where the old energy disappears and the new energy appears. And there is in between, there is like a peace. So I am not an expert of talking when you're having intimacy with your twin flame, because I never did, based on the fact that I was married and I could not step over with my mind of this. I'm very ethical in terms of that. And many of us can also say, I know a lot of married women and married men have wrote to me and saying, I'm married, we had children, but how can I be so affected to someone else? And at the same time, they're running away from me. And it's not ethical to love someone else. I think if your partner will go through a spiritual awakening and understanding, then they start to understand that there is something else and there is something more. And it's not so black and white. It's not cheating. I would never say that I cheated on my husband or anything like this. There was something that changed me forever, and this was to meet my soul, to understand my purpose. So I was on a spiritual journey already before that, and he was like the catalyst for my spiritual awakening. It was intense, it was painful, it was hard, I really felt I'm dying, and I think some part of me definitely died, and I had to leave it behind. So here also what she says to me when she had a Kundalini awakening, I've heard, and I'm just saying based on her, I'm getting an expert here, we're going to talk about it, that really when you're having a sexual energy with your twin flame, you're going to have a very intense Kundalini awakening, like real intense, because your body gets like, like a power shock all of a sudden, and that's what's happening to you. So all of a sudden, your body is like, boom, it's fired up. But now there are also these bad energies you have inside of your body from the past lives or from the previous lives or the trauma or anything that starts to leave, and it starts to live with the pain. So I would somehow call it like a thunderstorm, like all of a sudden there is electricity, everything is happening, and then there is like a fearful sound that comes out of it. And and that's what's happening to you when you have a Kundalini awakening. It's just like, it's like something is really leaving from your body and you cannot see it, but your body is so much in pain. And I know many people will start taking medications or start drinking or staying with drugs, and they try to avoid that pain. But until you don't face that pain and sit down with this pain and don't talk to this pain, it will not leave, because it's kind of like, yes, I've stored you in my body, you've been here, but now it's your time to go. And thank you for the lessons. Thank you for being here. But I'm becoming a new me. I'm taking a rebirth, and you're not part of this no longer. So you talk to your pain, not to avoid the pain. Pain is the first indicator that something is changing. Something is giving you need attention to your body, to your mind, to your soul. Also, of course, when she talks about here about this, like you feel so happy and content, and you feel like it's just something happened in your world, like the time and space doesn't exist. It literally doesn't. I remember when I was with my twin flame, and I'd written this in my diary where I thanked the God, I thanked the universe. I said, thank you for this beautiful thing. Well, that was until I had no idea that they're gonna run and we're gonna have a big separation, and it's gonna question me in every single aspect, and my body is going to be in so much in pain that I'm almost having a heart attack. So no, it's not the fun journey, but it's going to guide you to a higher self. And also, I was saying about the love, when I think many of us have said very quickly to your twin flame that you love them. Like it comes like, I love you. Like literally, you look at them and you can't hold these words back. I remember even the first time we met and I dropped him off, I sat in my car and I was thinking, I love this person, but I don't know him. I didn't know anything. We didn't even speak the same language. So starting from that. So yes, the Kundalini awakening also, I like to bring one more time in that it's very intense, and that's why many of you are currently suffering and going through the pain. That it's because it's a no joke process. Overall with her, I think I could discuss this forever. And also when she says, if this is love, I have never experienced love. And that's true. It's a divine love. It's divine connection. It's something that happens not all of us, but those who are connected and are chosen by the universe, it happens to us. And that's why also when people, I always say, unfortunately, those who haven't gone through it, those who haven't been in this journey, do not understand what you're talking about. So for them, it sounds like, yeah, it's a love, it comes and goes. But you will never forget your twin flame. Regardless, even if you are in a union with yourself, I spoke about the different types of unions. They are in the link in the description. There's a union where you are with your twin flame, and there is a union where you are in a union with your soul and you're living physically differently. But you will never forget them. It's simply something like, like your home or your mother. The love will fade away in that terms that you understand it better. You understand why do you love your mom or why do you miss your home. But it's always there. It's always with you because now you're connected. So that was a long one, but I find even I would like to dive into her story more. So hopefully in the near future, we can dive into this more. I have another story here we're going to dive into, and that's also about the signs, and we're gonna dive into this now. First, I would like to say thank you for your YouTube channel that I came across recently. The information that you're providing have been very helpful. And thank you so much for saying that. Again, I mean, like I said, every single thing, it makes me just like, wow. It just like takes me to pause and I'm like, you're such a beautiful souls out there. You're just a love and light. I have been married for 23 years and I have 2 beautiful daughters. Since I started having relationships, I always felt that there was something missing and I would feel that the person I am with is not the right one for me. Anyways, I then met my husband and we are still married. I tried to ignore the feeling that I was having before meeting my husband. It got worse when my husband cheated on me. I started feeling lonely and at the same time feeling that there is another person waiting for me to reach out. This went on for many years. To cut the story short, 3 years out of nowhere, I had pulling edge to go on a dating app. When I was creating my profile, my heart was racing, but I got the courage to finish creating it. My intention was to find someone I could just talk to. I didn't select current location, instead of I chose London. So after 2 days, I went into the app and the picture of people interested started popping up. And there was one profile picture that got my attention because when I saw the picture, my heart started beating so fast. After he noticed that I went through his profile, he sent me a message, and from our first chat, we closed our profiles on that app. He also selected London as his location, but he has never been in London. He is from Italy. For the first time in my life, this man gave me a stomach butterflies. I had the strongest feelings I have never had for anyone. What was weird was that the feeling I have been having all my life, feeling like there is someone out there for me to stop up to date. We continued to communicate online. The connection got intense. I felt his energy. I had dreams about him. Every night I feel him next to me. I would feel him hugging me. Some nights I would feel him fixing my blanket when they fell. There were times I would feel him kissing me. We used to send each other messages and before going to bed. One night I had a dream about him admitted at the hospital, and in my dream I saw him with blood on his head. The next morning he didn't send a message as usual, and I could sense something was not right. He finally sent me a message in the afternoon explaining exactly what happened in my dream. He actually fell on his staircase and hurt his head, and he was rushed to the hospital. The weirdest dream I had was when I dreamt about his mother bringing him to me and closed us in the house and left. I never met his mom, and she passed on during the COVID. I'd never even seen his mother's picture. When I told him about the dream and described her mother, he was shocked because she was exactly how I described her. I also dreamt about my mother, who also passed away, eating dinner with us. The other dream was when I felt like my soul left my body to visit him in Italy. In my dream, I went straight to his house, and when I got to the door, he was waiting for me by the staircase and calling me to come home, like directing me to him. We got into the house, he took me to his bedroom, and he fell asleep on his chest. When I woke up from the dream, my legs were so tired as if I was walking the whole night. Anyway, we finally decided to meet, and he came to Cape Town to see me. It was the most beautiful moments of my life. After he went back to Italy, I felt like I was losing my mind. I wanted him near me all the time. I was missing him like crazy. He shared what he was feeling too, missing me, wanting me to close him. He said he never experienced what he was feeling with me, with any person, and that was scaring him. One day he asked me if I used voodoo on him. Then after a month of seeing each other, he started being cold with me. It was difficult for me to go and see because I was still married and have kids to take care of. The on and off continued, and I went through what I call hell. I couldn't eat, I lost so much weight, I lost interest in everything. I lost friends, my business started going down, I had chased my husband from the room. The obsession about my twin flame was just too much. I started asking God questions. Why did he make me marry someone and then bring this other person in my life? I would cry for no reason. I prayed and begged God to remove the feelings I had for my twin flame. I never prayed like that before. I started reading Bible, trying to understand exactly what the purpose of life is. I found myself searching on Google, wanting to know how to stop obsessing about someone and why I have deep feelings like that. Then the twin flame word popped up. I knew nothing about this before. What's funny is I kept asking myself why I would fall for someone like him. He has so many issues regarding his past life. He's a negative person and he has financial issues, and my soul is screaming for him. We managed to meet in the second time in Italy, and also we had the best time. And a few weeks after I left, and off continued. He started saying that I live far and he's scared that he won't be able to take care of me because of his financial constraints. And at the same time, he doesn't want to lose me. And on my side, I'm still married. It just complicated situation for us. I started with meditation and practicing self-love, trying to calm myself. At the moment, we are not talking to each other. It's been a month. I miss him like crazy. But the meditation is helping me to kind of balance. Before we stopped talking, I comforted him about being cold with me, and he told me that he's seeing someone else, but it's not what he wants. And at the same time wanted to keep communicating with me. We had an argument and I felt he was starting to be rude with me. So I decided to stop talking with him, even though it's not easy for me. Every day he's on my mind. Every day I see synchronizing numbers, especially 44, 222, 111, and 333. It's hard, but I'm trying to move on. Her story is, again, very, I think many of us can relate, and especially for the fact that funny enough that I spoke about the marriage and the kids, and when I popped up her story, even though it was on my list, I take it by intuitive. I don't plan it exactly. That she's married. And my twin flame, just when we had this conversation after a full moon and this intense energy, he literally said to me, I was so attached to you, but unfortunately it looked like impossible love. And when I asked about impossible love, he obviously brought it out, okay, yes, you were married, but then he also said that energy, what we had together, feared me so much that I thought, how can I actually be worth of you? So she's talking here about the financial issues of the twin flame, and my like I said, my twin flame was very young, so he was obviously financially not secured and trying his way up, working very hard, doing everything. But since my lifestyle was a little different, and I wouldn't say, like, my lifestyle was definitely different, and especially seeing on social media, he got really scared that he's not able to afford me or be with me. And these type of little things starting to make sense. Also, she talks about here how she saw that something happened to twin flame in her dream, and it actually happened at exactly the same thing, 100% the same thing. I woke up in the morning and I felt heavy on my head. And I was like, something is weird. Like something is weird in my head. But I often had migraines and kind of things. So I took it as a part of it. And on that day, he had actually a scooter accident. He fell down, he was hospitalized, but he didn't text me the whole day. And it made me also odd, like, why he's not texting me? But I was thinking maybe he's busy because I know he's working very hard. So I didn't really worry about it. And all of a sudden, he sent me a picture and he's like, I'm in a hospital. And then my headache and this way I felt in my dream, all of a sudden started to make sense. And I obviously rushed to the hospital. I picked him up. He was okay. He was nothing wrong. And I was I didn't understand. I didn't know back then about twin flames. I'll be honest. Now, if I reflect back to it, I have all the answers, which back then felt like normal thing, especially the dreams I was having. I always tell to my clients, please write your dreams down. Please, whatever, if you don't have the answer today, you will have an answer at the end. And if you don't write your dreams down, you still don't communicate the way you're supposed to, because you can communicate with your twin through the dreams all the time. And the best part is that there is not your mind in charge who's going to tell you what is right, what is wrong, what is an ego base. Shall I say this? You will say things what you exactly want to say, and your twin plane tells back you that. Also, like she says, that everything, when the moment you meet, things are not like normal. There's always some kind of weird way you meet. Like hers was in an app, not supposed to be in London. All of a sudden, both of them are in London. And then you have this weird way of connecting. She's asking the God why the God had, so here I have to, why the God put her together with someone that actually she's supposed to be with. So here's a couple of things over the years, over this year, I've learned, and I actually analyze it quite a lot. One of the things is we have something to learn from here. And the reason you meet she met her husband, or we are in a relationship with somebody else, is exactly like I spoke on one of my podcasts. First, we don't know what love is. We take someone because of the society thinks we need to be married, we need to have kids, we need to, this makes it like a perfect life. So we get lost in that. We accept the love with you do this, I do this, but love is actually not like that. Love is not based on what somebody does or how somebody takes care of you or what it gives to you. Love, until you have met your twin flame, is divine, which means you are the love. You don't expect anything in the love. You are the love. And I would like to repeat that one more time. You are the love. So it's not like I am love when I have, let's say, beautiful dress on, or I'm love when somebody brings me the food, or I'm love when I do things no. You remember when you met your twin flame? There was nothing like that. There was no such a thing that you're attracted to them, or they do something for you. Let's say they bring you flowers, they take you to the fancy restaurant. No. There was just the most simple thing. And this is what the twin flame connection is about to teach you. It's about to teach you about the love, pure love. And also, she definitely she has two beautiful girls out of that marriage, and life wanted her to have these daughters. These daughters will definitely play a role in her life, and it wouldn't have happened because the divine timing was not right. She had to learn something out of her husband marriage. I also want to say here what I had with my husband, and just to bring it up, your spouse can really feel when you're disconnected with them. So, which means that they will actually start cheating on you or looking for because they don't understand you no longer. There is no mutual connection, even though you can have an intimacy, something is not right, and they can really feel it. Remember, everything is energy. And even though if your spouse is not spiritually awakened, they can feel the disconnect with you. They can really feel it. And you know yourself that you're very disconnected. And she also mentions over here that, she lost friends, she lost their business not going so well. And everything, you don't want to eat anymore. I think many of you, if you're listening, you can always leave a comment and say and share your story. That no food tastes good anymore. Like, you go to your favorite restaurant and you want to eat it and it tastes bland. It doesn't have no taste whatsoever. You cook something you really like, no taste. You don't want to eat. So this is all part of your spiritual awakening. That means you're going to change, like everything changes inside of you. It's like, you take out the old soup from the pot and then there is a bit of a dry period and then it starts filling up, but it's unknown, it's new, it doesn't make a lot of sense, but you're trying to survive somehow in this 3D world. Like you feel intuition very strongly, what you're supposed to do, what you want to do, but then at the same time you're like, but I've never done this before, how I'm going to do this? So it's like a madness what's happening. You're like in between two worlds, and you are actually in between two worlds. Same with her. There's another thing. She says that the twin flame said that seeing somebody else, but it's not the same. My twin flame never told me that he was seeing somebody else, but he came to my dream with a girl who had like a dark hair and everything. And he told me in my dream, he literally told me, I hope it doesn't hurt you that I am with somebody else, but I know that our connection is to like something so powerful and you have moved on with your life, like with my husband, for example, and I will never have you, but you know that I will always love you. And what my soul always repeats for that is like, I know, you have your 3D life to live. You have to get married. You have to have children. I did all of that. I did all of this. And if the divine decides that at one point of life we come together, for example, we come together. If not, I am awakened now. I can talk to you every moment, I can connect with you in the ways that I never thought is possible. Because like that's why I say breathwork, meditation, sound healing, very powerful ways of connecting, and you get all the answers for them. I promise I'll do my expertise in it, and I will start sharing for it, and I will take you on the journey. She also has like the same way. She found the story, like she started looking, what is this obsession? And the twin flame comes up from it. I had the same. I had no idea about twin flames until you meet actually the one, and all of a sudden everything starts making sense to you, but you're still trying to avoid with your mind that this is not true. Like, how come you are so obsessed with someone you just met and just like, not even your type? And you kind of, we all have been in love. All of you who are listening, you know very well you've been in love. You go to the bar, you see a man or a woman who is very attractive, and you're like, wow, looks good, and you're having a good conversation and everything. But there is this electricity. Like, you can literally like them and feel attracted to, but there is this electricity. When I spoke to my twin flame, I said, with you, what confused me to the maximum level was the fact that I meet people every day. I'm very social. I'm super friendly. I talk to men, and most of my in my workspace are men, like in a way what I do. And I meet all the time people, and I never had that electricity. And the moment I met you, you're much younger than me. You're not what I'm looking for in my life. And I didn't even look for someone, to be honest. Boom. There you are. Yes, I'm not going to lie here. My marriage was really on the edge on that time. We had 2 little kids. It's a mess in my life during this time. And plus my spiritual awakening, all of the things that started to happen to me just simply didn't make sense. And I was alone. That's why I'm still, until today, so thankful for those who made the videos on YouTube and shared their stories, because it made me to realize I'm not alone. It's going to pass, and everything is going to be okay. Within her story, I really feel that she's right now in a stage of a little bit where she's starting to have many separations with him. Because they are living in a different 3Ds. So she's most probably wondering if she's going to have a divorce, or she's going to leave the husband, or it's done with that and everything. I would really suggest here, before making any decision, go within and ask yourself how I feel around my husband. Is he spiritual? Is he seeing the world? Do I play a role there? Another thing I can suggest is, because I can see that she is meant to do something else in her life, what she's doing currently, because everything fell apart in her life. Same to me. I pretty much lost my friends I used to hang out with. I still have some other friends, like the old friends who I'm now guiding on the process. That's why I say energy is everything. You attract who you are, you do what you are, and here is a good way of understanding when she asked me, why the God you sent me like the first marriage while I'm supposed to be with somebody else? Well, if you think about 23 years ago, you were a very different energetic being. You were not the same energy who you are today. Yes? So that's why you attracted your husband, that you had a mission on that energy level. Now you have raised your vibration. You are in a different vibration, different frequency, and you ran into your twin flame. It doesn't happen to all of us in this 3D world that we are meeting your twin flame in this lifetime. So you have a big mission. And especially the fact that she lost her friends, she felt the meaning, she has a big awakening happening. She most probably has to rethink of her business, what she's doing right now, and what she's really supposed to do. I would definitely need more information and tap into more of her energy. Today's episode has been quite a long, so many of you, but I really, really feel, and this comes from my soul, that she has something else she needs to start. There's some kind of another business, there's some kind of another way of doing things that she needs to start. And so until the obsession and until the spiritual awakening is fully done, she will be very confused. That's for sure. We all know that you are in a complete pain and you're lost in your life. And of course the synchronicities and everything, but she can communicate through the dreams, which is powerful. Please write the dreams down if you can. Keep a diary or write on your phone notes. They will make sense to you eventually. They don't make sense to you today, they will make sense to you at one point. So I actually had another story which I really wanted to share, but just because today's episode is a bit long, I will keep it for the next Wednesday, as her details were very intense and powerful, and I think it would be perfect for the next episode because we had two very strong stories today. First of all, I would like to say thank you so much, my beautiful souls, for sending me these stories, and we can dive into these topics and understanding it better. I hope it helped you. If it did, if you can like, subscribe, and leave a comment. I always write down for myself if somebody has subscribed to dive into their energies as well when we are doing the podcast. Because you can call me crazy, you can call me whatever. I really feel like I just bring an example. One time I was recording an episode where I was talking about the twin flame marriage and twin flame, what happens when you're married, because I know. And I was just recording that episode, and I got a comment on my YouTube channel, what to do when I'm married, I have this, and I was like, you have to be kidding me. I was just recording that episode and it's coming out. So I truly believe that when you sign up, when you are connected, there is more energy exchanged and you get the answers what you're looking for. There's a telepathy, and I'm talking from my soul. None of these episodes are in a way of structurized that I'm thinking I'm going to say this, I'm going to say that, and this, and so it's just a free form. It's what comes from my soul. So that's why today we have two stories. I was hoping we can do 3-1, but they're very intense, and I think you got some kind of an information from here. I really thank you for listening me almost an hour and spend the time with me and the other beautiful two souls, and also all the other followers who are out there. Right now we are on YouTube, I think over 700, on TikTok 5,000, on Instagram around 200. For me, you are the most amazing souls out there because I am connected to you. I feel the love, I feel the energy, I feel that you are waking up and we can bring so much love and light into this world. So thank you so much for that. Thank you so much. Right before I'm going to finish, like I said, I have big things happening which I've never planned, but in Twin Flame Connection, our journey, we go with the flow. We go what the universe will bring us. I have a podcast episode coming up with a person who will tell us about in detail in the intimacy. I will have a podcast episode with another person who will share the story. And in that episode, I have decided that I will give an overview. How does it normally, the calls, when I'm doing the guidance calls and what I'm discussing and how it works, to put it out there, to give you an overview. How do I see your process? What do I feel and how it works? So these are the two things that are definitely happening. So we have episodes on each Wednesday where we discuss about your story. So if you want to share your story, please email to me to inflameawakeningjourney@gmail.com. There you find it also in a description, the email. Make sure to follow, make sure to like, and if you have any questions, if you have anything you need answers for, leave a comment. Like I said, I can make episodes about it, I can talk about it, I give all my guidance what I know. So, and the new update about the episodes are following that. Every Wednesday we talk about the guest post. Either it's 1 or 2 posts, depending on the length and depending on the story itself. Every Sunday we dive into one topic where I'm giving the guidance and tips and how it works. And then every Friday on YouTube I'm having just a short video where I tell you what is going to happen in your journey or how it works. Like, I just bring out some very simple examples that might resonate with you. So I would like to say thank you for listening to Twin Flame Awakening podcast. It means the world to me that you have joined in and spend your time with me today. I hope these stories resonate with you, and if they do, please subscribe, put on the bell notification, not to miss the next episode, because I'm here to guide you.
I guess we
and lots of
forgot
love and light.
about the way we could sit and talk all night. We just let the good times pass and got caught up in our fights. I say I don't mind, but that's a lie. Thought we'd work it out. I've tried to let